Hi, Nastasia. Yes, as you've just said that the jobless numbers or the unemployment rate has decreased by 1 percentage point. Of course, it still remains elevated in those 30% regions, and we do need to get more South Africans working. But we thought this time around we'll look at what the job market really requires. We've decided to reach out to a recruitment agency called Inspired Recruitment Solutions out here in Johannesburg to speak to them to find out about what the job market is looking for. If you're out there and preparing for 2023 and you're looking for a job, what is required of you? What is your CV supposed to be looking like? And also what the trends are out there that employers are looking for. I'm joined by Ashley van der Westhuizen. She is the psychometric expert here at Inspired, and she'll give us a little bit more of insight of what they do here. Ashley, thank you so much for your time. 1 percentage point going down, encouraging, but still not enough. You are in the face of unemployment and you see those CVs coming through. What do you make of these numbers?
Yeah, I definitely think that the employment rates are quite low down. They're lower than what we want them to be. But I do think there's a lot of opportunity in our country. And here at Inspired, we are a recruiting agency and we're trying to close that gap between the unemployment rate, and we're trying to meet the client and the candidate to bring them together to close that unemployment gap.
Yeah. What are the employers looking for? There's a lot of people that are looking for jobs, and when you look at classified ads, you find that there are jobs being advertised, but for some reason there doesn't seem to be a connect in what the job market is offering and what employers are looking for. What have you seen as the trends recently?
Okay, so current trends in the market is you'll see that there's certain industries that are booming at the moment. For example, IT is booming, sales is booming. So we do see that at the moment. But we also see a little bit of a change in the employment and the way it's done. For example, COVID has changed a lot of things. You'll see that COVID has shifted our perspective in terms of looking at the way we work and the well-being and putting a perspective there. So you'll see that there's been a change there. You'll also notice things like in Gauteng, you'll find a lot of employment activity and recruitment activity happening in Gauteng. There's a little bit less in maybe Durban and outskirts or Cape Town areas, so you'll see that. Yeah, I think that's sort of the trends at the moment that we are seeing.
In terms of the industry, is it more office work? What kind of jobs trends in terms of placement? Where are you placing most of the candidates?
In terms of our data and our organization, we do a lot of IT and sales recruitment at the moment and a lot of finance. So I think those are the three industries that are top of mind at the moment. So if anyone's in those industries, they can dabble more there as well. Yeah.
Actually, there's also an issue of what our CVs should be looking like at a time when people are looking for jobs. Of course, there are a lot of outdated things that some candidates still do. Can you share with us some tips, and maybe to our viewers as well, some tips on what your CV should be looking like in 2023?
Sure, I think, your CV is your first impression of you. It's the first impression that a recruiter gets and a possible employee gets from you. So spend some time in it, throw yourself into it. Little tips of the trade as well. If you want to put a photo, you can. Just be mindful of it being more professional based as well. If you want to present your experience as well, make sure that you present your most recent experience and present it in a chronological order from there, from the recent. If you want to include things like references, you're welcome to do so, but we rather say leave it off and put, say, for example, upon request. And then if the recruiter or the agency or the employee asks for it, then you can give it to them like that. Yeah. And other things like get a second set of eyes. Let someone else read your work. I think it's nice you sometimes overlook things. And I think the main one is make sure your punctuation, your spelling is right. I think that's those key tips for you today.
I can imagine that the days of having a 3-page CVs are now gone. We're talking about resumes now, and we're also linking a lot of social media. Take us through how social media is influencing the job market lately.
Yeah, I think social media can be a great thing. I think you can put yourself out there, use those resources and platforms to market yourself, and use those resources to look for opportunities as well. Put yourself out there, use your resources.
I've noted lately that in the PR industry, for instance, you find employers looking for someone that has a large social media following and who is quite active. Is this what you find in the sales, IT, and finance industries that you are placing people in?
Yes, for sure. We do see a lot of that. Also, for example, platforms like LinkedIn can also give us a lot of information on you in certain industries. Obviously, also give us a lot of information. Maybe someone that's doing more marketing might have more profiles out there for us to look at, but yeah, use those resources.
All right. Ashley, thank you so much for your time. Nastasia, that was Ashley van der Westhuizen. She's a psychometrist here at Inspired Recruitment Agents, and they help people to find jobs. This is, of course, in relation to the fact that unemployment has decreased in the third quarter by 1 percentage point. Like I said earlier on, still relatively elevated, and we will need to work, or the government, the private sector, all stakeholders will need to do a lot more work in trying to resolve. As you can see here, we do have a team of people who are assessing CVs and looking around and helping to place people.